Hi everyone, Irfan Raza here, Property Buyer Connect, Raza Homes. I just want to take you through what we do to design kitchens. So there's a bunch of different kitchen ideas out there. You can read books about kitchen ideas, and there's a lot of people that can help you out, right? They have kitchen design centers, they have programming. I'm just going to go through real quick what we look through when we're designing our kitchens. Just keep in mind, though, that we are typically in Philadelphia row homes, so our kitchens are in a house that's about 1,000 square feet, so we don't get the space that allows for grand kitchens all the time, right? So we got to make use of the spaces that we do have. So in this particular case, we actually have around a 1,200 square foot home. We had a great space for a nice kitchen. And that's like the number one point that I want to point out is identify the space that you have, and with the space you have, identify what can fit and what cannot fit. So in some of our homes, you're going to see that we don't include a dishwasher. In this home, we had a relatively nice L-shaped kitchen design that we could fit a dishwasher in, so we chose to fit a dishwasher. The number two item is identify if you can fit a Lazy Susan cabinet. I personally love Lazy Susan cabinets. So for me, my preference is to have a Lazy Susan with functioning spin around drawers. Again, it is related to the space that you have, and you might not always have the ability to put a Lazy Susan. You might have to have a reach around cabinet. I think Lazy Susan's 36 by 36. If you have a reach around cabinet, you can just have a door that opens here, the cabinet cuts short, and you can bring all your cabinets in, and it works for a tighter space. The number three item that I want to mention is you can always copy, right? There's plenty of plans out there. There's plenty of images out there. There's no hurt in finding something that you like and utilizing that in your own home design, right? So we really like the L-shaped kitchen. We knew this design worked, and it worked well because I like the design of my home, and we were able to utilize this design here. The other item I want to mention is sink placement. And sink placement is probably the most important thing, but there's also oven placement and also refrigerator placement. So when I was in architecture and design class in high school, we learned that there was a need for a triangle. You kind of have to have your appliances set so you can have a working kitchen. So there is a need to have walking distance a certain amount. Dishwasher close to the sink, of course, because the dishwasher pumps into the sink. All these items are necessary to consider when you're designing a kitchen. But again, most important item is the sink. I like to focus on the sink placement. In this case, we designed the sink to be completely in the middle of the windows we have placed here, right? So it gives a nice symmetrical design, places the sink right in between the windows, and best part of it, while you're washing your hands, doing your dishes, you can look out the window for a beautiful view. And last, I'm going to actually switch the camera view. Last, I want to mention spacers. Just don't be scared to use spacers. We used a couple of spacers. You'll identify in that corner and that corner. I'm going to switch it to this corner to help you identify when you need spacers, when to use spacers, and I'll get into detail on that. Okay, switching the camera around to identify the use of spacers. I want to point to the direction of the overhead cabinet for the use of spacers, right? So in Philly homes, and pretty much all homes, you're not always going to, all older homes, let's say, you're not always going to get square walls. So if you look in the camera, you're going to see this gap gets lower and lower, and in this case, it gets higher up here. So what we have to worry about is not only the swinging of refrigerator doors, making sure it doesn't hit, and this opens freely until it hits the baseboard. So this is a full 90-degree swing, which is exactly what we're looking for. So you not only have to worry about refrigerators hitting the wall, but you have to worry about other cabinets opening. So in this case, we used, it looks like a 2.5-inch spacer. I know we've tried to tighten it, but the use of a 2.5-inch spacer in this type of wall environment was very beneficial because it does allow the refrigerator to open and close. Other places that you'll see the need for a spacer, I mentioned a corner cabinet. I call it the reach around cabinet. You're often going to need a spacer between the reach around cabinet and the next base cabinet. Otherwise, you're not going to have a freely opening cabinet. Anytime you use a corner sink, definitely consider the need to use spacers, because corner sinks require freely opening doors, but it might be hard to get them every once in a while. And you might have situations where you have to open a door to open another door, and we don't want that. So definitely consider the use of spacers, especially in these smaller kitchens. All right, that's it for now. If you guys have any additional comments or any additional advice, I'm always open to hearing, so post your notes on the comments below. Thanks, guys.